Hello, my name is Craig Clafter, and around me today is the Short Center for Performing Arts at Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia. I created this channel to help international students make well-informed decisions in choosing to study abroad. I hope you find this video useful. This video focuses on what international students with disabilities should know about American institutions of higher education. I will explain U.S. disability law, accessibility, accommodations, requesting accommodations, specialist educational institutions, and off-campus accessibility. Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973 was the first law in the United States to protect individuals with a disability from discrimination. It applied to any program receiving national government funding. Most institutions of higher education receive some such funding. The Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990 went further, prohibiting discrimination based on disability by any institution, regardless of whether they receive federal funding. It requires many buildings to be accessible to people with disabilities and educational institutions to provide reasonable accommodations to help students with disabilities meet academic requirements. Many states also have laws that prohibit discrimination against people with disabilities. New buildings and buildings that have been substantially renovated must be made accessible to students with disabilities. For example, students in wheelchairs can expect ramps around stairs, automatic doors, and swimming pool lifts. Blind students can expect edge stairs and braille signs. Deaf students and hard of hearing students can expect flashing alarm systems. Depending on the disability and requirements of the particular class, educational institutions provide, at no cost to students, accommodations such as sign language interpreters, stenographers for courses with technical language, note takers, braille books and materials, and extra time on examinations. Students with disabilities need to apply for accommodations. American institutions of higher education have an office or designated person responsible for considering requests for accommodation. You should contact the office or designated person soon after accepting an offer of admission. You will be asked to provide medical proof of your disability. The office or designated person will then determine what accommodations are reasonable. However, not all accommodations are reasonable. For example, a quadriplegic student could not be accommodated for a surgery class, and a blind student could not be accommodated for a flight class. Although all American institutions of higher education are accessible and accommodate students with disabilities, there are some specialist educational institutions for students with disabilities, including Gallaudet University, a private nonprofit university for the education of the deaf and hard of hearing located in Washington, D.C. It is the only university in the world in which all programs and services are specifically designed to accommodate deaf and hard of hearing students. Classes are conducted in American Sign Language with no spoken English, and curriculum materials are designed in both American Sign Language and English. Marlee Matlin, Academy Award-winning actress, Wumunuhu Druchen, South African MP, and Dorothy Miles, British poet, have been alumni. Gallaudet has a long history of welcoming international students. Specialist educational institutions for students with disabilities include the National Technical Institute for the Deaf, It is the first and largest technological college in the world for students who are deaf or hard of hearing. As one of 9 colleges within the Rochester Institute of Technology in Rochester, New York, it provides associate, bachelor's, master's, and doctoral programs in a wide range of subjects, many of which focus on science and engineering. American Sign Language in-class interpreters, on-site audiological, speech-language, and cochlear implant support are all provided. Many students take advantage of co-op programs, whereby they combine study with employment, gaining paid work experience. Specialist educational institutions for students with disabilities also include Southwest College for the Deaf, a public college in the state of Texas which offers Associate of Arts degrees. American Sign Language is the primary communication used in instruction. Its students participate in athletics, student organizations, class internships, and other residential activities. Graduates can continue on to universities in the University of Texas system in pursuit of a bachelor's degree. Specialist educational institutions for students with disabilities also include Landmark College, a private nonprofit liberal arts college in Putney, Vermont, exclusively for those with diagnosed learning disabilities, attention disorders, or autism. It offers associate's and bachelor's degree programs in the liberal arts and sciences. Beyond American institutions of higher education, you can expect to find the United States generally accessible to students with disabilities. The laws that apply to institutions of higher education also apply to local government. As such, students with disabilities can expect to find provisions made in public services and facilities to allow the participation of people with disabilities, including accessible public transportation, curb cutouts to ease wheelchair access, audio walk signals, accessible toilets, braille signage, accessible public buildings, and closed caption television programs. If you found this video helpful, please indicate that you liked it and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.